All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing today? Let's just jump right into it. So a couple weeks ago, I was browsing Reddit. I know it's my kryptonite, to be honest with you, but I was browsing Reddit and I saw a post and it kind of scared me a little bit. This post, I believe, was in the CompTIA subreddit, and the title of the post was, "Can anyone please give me some insight on what this is about?" And the post is as follows. It has a screenshot, and I'm going to read the screenshot right now. Looks like this is sent from CompTIA, and it says, "Exam policy violation related to the CompTIA Security Plus certification exam." And it says, "Dear whoever this is from, CompTIA is committed to maintaining the integrity and validity of its certification programs. As a part of this commitment, we conduct routine statistical and forensic reviews of exam results in accordance with industry best practices and standards, including those recognized by such and such standards. These reviews are essential to ensuring that all candidates are evaluated fairly and that our certifications remain a trusted benchmark in the industry. Following a recent review of your exam results, your score was flagged due to significant anomalies indicative of violation of our policies. As a result, your score has been invalidated, and if applicable, your certification has been revoked. You are also suspended from taking any CompTIA exams for a 3-month period beginning from the date you complete your exam, and you will not be eligible to take the CompTIA exam until 12/4/2024. And that's kind of interesting. It does say, "Please note this suspension period may have already lapsed," and I think this was posted a month ago, so they are able to take that test again. The determination to invalidate your score was based on a rigorous analysis conducted by CompTIA's psychometricians and exam security team. This analysis employs proprietary methodologies designed to identify a range of that's the word that tripped me up. Irregular, wow, you know what it is, including an unusual response timing, statistically improbable answer patterns, and inconsistent performance across exam domains, and similarities in answer choices among candidates. These methodologies are also capable of detecting patterns that may suggest pre-knowledge of the exam content or other behaviors inconsistent with standard testing practices. Applied consistently across all candidates, these techniques are protected as trade secrets to ensure the integrity, fairness, and credibility of the certification process. It is important to note that this decision is not an assessment of intent, rather it reflects CompTIA's obligation to uphold the fairness and credibility of its certification program. As outlined in the CompTIA candidate agreement, which you accepted prior to taking the exam, decisions based on this data forensic analysis are final and not subject to appeal." Now, I'm not accusing this person of anything, but clearly CompTIA is. Basically, they're just saying that he cheated. They think that he cheated, and they conduct these tests, and they have these algorithms that basically kind of can confirm that whether you're cheating or not. That's just a crazy statement and definitely jarring to hear and read. But this guy posted a follow-up, or at least some subtext and some context to what he received. And his words were, "I took and passed my Security Plus around a year ago and got this letter Monday evening. I studied with Professor Messer videos and used study guides and practice tests I found online. I'm very confused on why they revoked my badge and took away my cert since I did not cheat. Is there anyone who maybe works at CompTIA or has gotten a similar letter that can provide some insight? I reached out to CompTIA team, but I haven't heard nothing back. Thank you." So in the Reddit thread, just kind of like a follow-up, they did email him back, and I'm not going to read the email, but basically it just said, "Hey, if we sent you this, then we are 100% for sure that this is the case." And so the first question I have is how does CompTIA determine this? Could there be some margin of error? And honestly, we'll never know because, like they said, it is trade secret, so they will never disclose on how they figured that out. But I don't think it's too much to worry about because I do think there are some things that you can do to avoid this. The first thing is, if you have the option, take the test at a testing center. In the thread, the guy does say that he took it online, and there's basically 2 ways to take a CompTIA security exam. The first one being you could take it remotely, so you could take it at home or in a home environment. And then the second thing is you can take it at a testing center. Now, I have taken mine at a testing center. I did not elect to do the remote just because there's just so many rules and restrictions when it comes to taking a remote. Like, you can't have anything on your desk, you can't have anything in the walls behind you, you can't have anything in front of you, and then they kind of make you kind of like pan the webcam so that there's no evidence of you doing anything fraudulent, which is valid. But I also just don't like the fact that a proctor is literally just looking at me in his webcam, just waiting for something to happen. That just doesn't sit well with me. Now, obviously at a testing center, you're still proctored, right? People still come in and check on you periodically. but it's a much more lax environment. And for me, when I'm taking a test, I have to use all of my brain power. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, and I think even just doing that gesture when you're taking a test remotely just isn't going to side with them. Like, they do not like that. So basically, you just want to eliminate all reason for them to be suspicious. So that's why I say take it in a testing center. If you don't have that option and you don't have that ability, then just be on your P's and Q's when it comes to taking the exam remotely. Like, just focus on your screen, don't fidget, don't do anything weird, and you will be fine pretty much. Now, the second thing that comes to mind is the fact that he probably used exam dumps. Now, I don't think that he did it intentionally. Well, I would hope not. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. He used it intentionally, but that's probably what happened. When I took or studying for my CompTIA exam, I used the Professor Messer videos, I used the Professor Messer notes and practice questions, and then I also used that app that was on the App Store that had the practice questions too. And I would hope that there's no questions or there's no exam dumps on either of those apps. Obviously, I'm still good now, so fingers crossed that isn't the case. But you pretty much just want to use resources that are backed by people who have taken the test as well. So that can be Professor Messer, Jason Dion. Really just browse that CompTIA subreddit, and you'll start to see a pattern of the resources that people used. And you definitely want to avoid sketchy websites. Like, if you're on a website where it says, hey, pass the Security Plus, no problem, and it gives you like exam dumps, especially if you have to pay for them. Typically, all these exam dumps, not that I know from experience, but I'm just saying, like, typically all these exam dumps are like paywalled. So if you're spending like $10 to $15 on practice questions that are guaranteed to have you pass the test, probably would not I would not do that. And if you're curious on what resources to use, shameless plug, you can watch my video on me passing the CompTIA Security Plus exam in 2 days. There I give 2 resources that I think are awesome, and then I do mention other resources that you can use to pass the test that I think are solid and are not, like illegal or unauthorized. Also, I do have some free practice questions I'm going to link down below that you can use and utilize. It's completely free. And I think that they are pretty solid too, and they are not from exam dumps, so you should be good on that end as well. Also in the email, they said that they were able to identify patterns, and that's how kind of led to their results. And I think pretty much what happens is, obviously CompTIA has multiple exams, so they don't have the same exam. So my exam won't be the same as yours. I think it's a big old bank of questions that they kind of pull from randomly, and then that's how they generate your test or tests specifically. And a lot of times those exam dumps are just one version of the test. So it's very possible that this guy or this person got one version of the test of those exam dumps and memorized them. And so all those answers or all those questions from that exam dump, he was able to answer pretty quickly, like less than 15 seconds or 30 seconds. And then the rest of the questions he spent a lot of time on just because he wasn't familiar with them. And so that's obviously something to consider as well. Again, not accusing this guy of anything. I'm just kind of going off of what CompTIA said in their email. I think the most important lesson to learn from this is to honestly just study the material and learn the material as best as you can. I mean, if you're taking the cert to get into cybersecurity, then it's important to know the topics and know what you're speaking about. Like I said, I mentioned in my other video where I passed it in 2 days. It's not because I studied an algorithm or understood a format. It's because I have studied cybersecurity for a long time. I just was familiar with it. I'm familiar with the language and how everything works. The acronyms kind of came to me. The questions and scenarios are it's what I've seen in real life. So that's how I was able to pass it so quickly. But if you're taking this test without any prior knowledge of cybersecurity, then do your best to learn the material, study the concepts, and understand what exactly is on or is in that study material. Because it's not only going to help you pass the test, but it's going to help you so far, or it's going to help you in your journey to cybersecurity or get into cybersecurity. So all in all, should you be afraid of this post and, you know, kind of be fearful of taking the exam and what study materials you should and shouldn't use? No, not really. I think there are plenty of resources. There's plenty of threads out there that state what resources people use to pass it, and they passed fine. This is just an outlier, but it was interesting to see, and it is kind of scary to see that, well, it's not scary to see that CompTIA takes it seriously. Obviously, they should be taking it seriously, but you know, you should definitely be mindful of the resources. Like if you dig into uncharted territories and sketchy websites, then that's on you, and sometimes these things could happen. Personally, I don't think that this individual like cheated intentionally. At least I hope he didn't, but you know, all of it can be bypassed if you just go through the proper channels, or at least, you know, some credible resources. So that is the end of this video. Let me know what you think about this whole situation, and let me know in the comments down below what you're using to study the CompTIA Security Plus. Did you pass the test? What resources did you use? All that good stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.